Thanks so much for coming along and joining us today on our automated trading event. We've got a lot of information to show you guys, so we're just going to crack on and get straight to it. So we're just going to give a brief introduction of what we're covering this evening. It's nice to see some familiar faces as well. So today we're going to do a brief introduction, followed by a little bit more about the company, some of the milestones that we've achieved at Samuel Trading. We're going to move on to the psychology side of trading, as we know that's quite important towards manual trading. Briefly covering some of our services, moving over to why we partnered up with ActiveTrader and why we use those guys as brokers, what it takes to be a trader, and then we're going to go on to do demonstrations in regards to talking about the algorithms, semi-automated algorithms, fully automated algorithms, and then also what made me design some of them based on inputs, variables, and things like that. And then at the end of the lecture, where exactly you go from here, and kind of what stage we can progress to. So, some of you may know me, some of you may not, so there's a little bit more about our story. Samuel Trading was founded in 2012, which you'll find out a little bit more information about us shortly. We're founded on excellence, honesty, social responsibility and development. And you're going to see that just throughout this entire conversation that we're going to be having this evening in regards to our stats, our track records, everything about us as a firm. So the company was founded in 2012 by myself. You're talking back when I was at university and didn't really have too much clue what I was doing within financial markets, as you can imagine. And I spent a long time developing systems, working on strategies, always hunting for that thing like a holy grail, what a lot of people look for. And after those kind of 2 years, kind of got recognised amongst the university for trading. I did very well in university trading through both a little bit of luck, but also from aggressive trading within the markets. I went on and won some awards there at the university for entrepreneurship, for trading over £1 million in capital, and then also for most commercially viable business, which was Samuel Trading, creating algorithms, perfecting them, running on trading accounts, and kind of progressing on a more of a global scale. In 2015, that was kind of my breakthrough for me, for myself as a trader. We made an algorithm at that point that was called Maverick. I like the idea of being a maverick, being different from everyone else, all the different traders that are out there. And then we got approached by a company called Mobillion Venture Capitalists, and they offered me £1.1 million for the software. As a young bot shot, I kind of thought, could be the next Mark Zuckerberg, who knows? I was wrong. We didn't even use the software after a while. It kind of became dormant. We created better pieces of software and algorithms as well. But it was nice to be recognised. It was nice to know that what I was doing was valued, and it was nice to know exactly how much it was worth as well. And that's, for me, was a kind of recognition of realising how much money is involved in algorithms and how much they can be valued at. I was sitting there thinking, if I can create an algorithm and sell it corporately, how much could it be worth? And this was when the journey was really starting to develop for us. In 2015, it was a big year for me. As you can imagine, just being a young guy that didn't have any kind of backing, didn't come from a really strong, wealthy family or things like that. To open a trade floor, backing this all off my own finance. So there was nothing backed here from the banks, from anyone else. This was all self-backed. So we had a team of 7 at the time, and we taught over 200 people how to trade the financial markets. In the later end of 2016, moving on in 2016, is when we became regulated and we opened our first trade floor, which was like a big breakthrough for us at the time. Being a young guy, I worked in corporate, worked in banking before, which I'll explain in a minute, and then moving out on my own to go and set up my own company, and manage people. It was very different from a guy that was just a computer nerd, that was just sat behind a computer, trading the markets. All I had to worry about was myself and no one else. In 2016, we grew exponentially. So from a teaching point of view and from an algorithm development point of view, I was working with quite a few algorithms at the time. So we taught over 1,200 individuals how to trade in that year. And we also became CPD recognised for our certifications for our training. And then because of that, because of the flow on from universities, various different talks, the media picked it up, and we got branded in different papers for different things. One of them was for some of our charitable work that we did, donating money, and also taking traders and seeing their results. The stories told themselves, and we gained a lot of media attention. And that put me in a position of where we had over 110,000 followers on our social media channels, and that was quite a bit of a wow factor for me. You know, a lot of people follow me on my day-to-day life, my day-to-day trades, and it just kind of hits home just how many people want to make a difference in their own kind of trading, their trading careers, and so on and so forth. And it's nice to be able to be an influencer, give people that kind of motivation. Now, my big breakthrough in 2016 was my algorithmic fusion, which we're going to talk about today, for what it looks like, how it operates, things like that. So we designed this algorithm, and it's currently trading on over £3 million. Now, for a guy that didn't come from anything, didn't have any financial backing from banks, to be sat there to say that £3 million in capital is running on this is an achievement for me. It's very nice to know that people are running this software and making money on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, and have done for the last 5 months. And that's not just a rumour, it's not a word of mouth, this is all verified stats which we'll show you now, all verified by third party. Bringing us to this year, we opened another floor, Birmingham trade floor, and invested in our first traders up in Birmingham. It's nice to expand. I'm very much, I like my comfort zones, and I'm generally not even a public speaker, but it's absolutely lovely to be in front of you guys and share my experience with you. And then we just finished our first year of our first quarter of 2017 for Fusion's performance, and we're up over 19% on the quarter. We're on target for 80% per annum on low risk on an algorithm that's fully automated, which is fantastic. And since inception in November, it was around November the 7th, we're up over 28% on low risk, with some accounts well up over 40 to 50% based on what risk settings that they're using. And that brings me to today with you guys at Bishopsgate event. So a little bit more about myself. Obviously I'm the director of Sam & Co Trading, and all these lovely faces at the back of the room, part of my team. Got 7 years of trading experience with verified stats. Previous experience working in the private banking sector. I worked at Sahor & Co Private Bank, and then obviously social media influencer of all of the followers, and an entrepreneur, owner of multiple businesses. I'm always expanding my new businesses. I like to think I'm always creating new diversification in my portfolios, my businesses. I'm always learning, that's what I like. I like optimization and I like learning. So that's a little bit more about myself. So, let's just get out there, out of the way. Everyone wants to see track records and stats, right? I think it's a fair statement to make. So here's one of the accounts, real account, track record verified, trading privileges verified, showing you the stats of Fusion from November the 9th, all the way through to current time. The current account balance is 156,000, it's made over 11,000 since inception. And you can see all those verified stats. You can find this located on MyFXbook if you wanted to have a look at this more in depth. We've got loads of accounts like this that we're going to be showing you. Here's another one. Here's one that started off with 80k, increased the deposit to 100, and it's up over 12,000 since January the 12th. And up over 13.78%. So my point here is that what I'm going to be showing you is all honest, ethical, and it's all real. All of my stats here that you guys are looking at can all be found publicly. So that brings me on to our next part of this evening, which is about the mindset towards trading. What I want to do is I want to introduce Adrian Leach in a minute, who is my father. He's a very, how to put it, very, very experienced man in regards to the psychology behind what it takes to trade, and also what affects the mindset. A lot of people say that it's 80% psychology and 20% skill set. And our plan is to get you to just, if you don't, to have an understanding of what psychology is needed within the markets and how we can negate some of that through automated trading. And that's my plan. So if we can, do a round of applause together for Adrian Leach.
Thank you everyone, good evening. Wow, there's a lot of new faces there. How's everybody doing, all right? You enjoying it so far? Hello? You're okay, good, excellent. What an interesting story this is. It brings me great pleasure to talk to you about something I'm really passionate about, the mindset part of trading. I've been with Sam & Co for about 2.5 years now. When Sam originally started to learn to trade, he came up with psychological issues, emotional issues, and he asked me if I would put some information together to put on a program to help people coming through the Junior Trader program to deal with the psychology, this emotional frame of mind. So I want to talk a little bit about how the subconscious mind works, what it does, when it does it, how it does it, and why it does it. It's very, very important. Before I start that, how many traders do we have here? Full-time? Part-time? Demo accounts? Who wants to start trading and who hasn't started? Excellent. Okay, well let me talk to you about the subconscious mind, why this is so important. And this is about the part of the mind that operates below the conscious level of awareness. So, this is me. Oh my God, that's a larger than life picture. Hey. So, to give you a little bit of a background of my experience, I've been a qualified hypnotherapist for over 20 years now. I started as a masseur and reflexologist 40 years ago. Back in the day when men weren't supposed to be masseurs or reflexologists. And since that point, I've studied lots of alternative therapies. I'm really interested in how the mind affects the body. It's very important, and vice versa. I've been a martial artist for 45 years, and it's quite an interesting study when you see the energy system of the body and how the mind controls that. So that's where I am. That's my background. It goes back some 40 years. So, how many of you have read books about trading? Yeah? And how much good information did you get? Lots of good information, yes? Yeah, excellent. Now, did you find a technique in there that helped you with the information to deal with the psychology? Well, that's quiet. Because I didn't, and that's what upset me. I was really upset. I was really intent on finding the information out about what it is that the mindset, how it affected people, but there was nothing in there to actually help us through dealing with the psychology. So in the books, you'll see that we need three things. We need the technique, how we trade, how we get in, how we get out of the trade when the market is right. Then when you're in the trade, you become a money manager. See how you protect your account, there we go. Sexy boy. So we become money managers. Then, at the very end, they bolt on the mindset. Oh, you need the mindset to deal with the psychology side of things. What they don't tell you is that the subconscious mind controls all of those three components. It's not something that's tagged on at the end. So what does the subconscious mind do? Well, basically, it's a recording device. If you set up a recording device over here, it will record everything. But your subconscious is very, very powerful. So it records all of your sensory input through your senses externally. So firstly sight, then hearing, then smell, touch, taste. Usually in that order, but not always. They can interact. It also monitors your internal energetic system and your emotions. So if everything's going nice and happy and you're enjoying life, then your energy system is balanced. The memories will be put away with the energy package into your memory banks. If somebody comes up and slaps you around the face, you get upset. Your emotions kick off, and the sensory input plus your emotions get put away. So the next time you see that person, you recall the memory and also that emotion, and you get upset again. So it records all sensory input, whether that's positive or negative, helpful or unhelpful. It doesn't judge it, it doesn't criticize it, it just stores it. Okay? It's neutral about it. And it does it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It started doing it when it started to develop in the womb, up to birth and up to the present day, right up to this moment. It doesn't shut off. Only your conscious mind does. And it uses this input to create what I call programs, operating systems. So what is a program? Well, programs are the way we interact with the world. Every moment-to-moment experience. So learning to walk, learning to talk, learning to ride a bike, your current job, any sports that you do, that type of thing. You don't think Are we losing the sound here? We don't think about them, we just do them. They are programs, they operate automatically, and they operate when they're triggered. So if I came up to you and said, "Hi, my name's Adrian, how you doing?" and I put my hand out, you would typically put your hand out and shake mine because you've learned that it's polite to shake my hand when somebody introduces themselves. You don't think about it, do you? You take it for granted. So guys, when you put your trousers on in the morning, do you put your left leg in first or your right leg? And some of you are going, I don't know. Because you have to think about doing it. Okay? You just do it automatically. It's a program. Trading is a program. And ladies, you're not getting away with this. So when you put your eye makeup on, do you do your left eye or your right eye first? Some of you don't know. You do both eyes at the same time. Okay. Why is it then that when you do your eye makeup, your mouth opens? What's that about? I honestly don't know. So these programs, these programs operate 95 to 98% of your daily life. You consciously think you're in control, but you're not. It is the programming that rules the majority of your daily life. And only when you consciously choose to override a program can you plot the if keep going this way. Modern technology. So, let's look at this slide. This is how a program is created. On the left, you can see we have experiences, positive and negative. When we have enough of those experiences in our daily life, and they could be anywhere between 800 and 1,000, I'm going to talk in and out, anywhere between 800 and 2,000, we create a program, an operating system, how we do something, how we function, how we cope, how we trade. Okay? When we have a predominant set of experiences, in this case we have more negative experiences, then the corresponding belief system is negative. I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I don't know how to, I don't want to go there, life is difficult, life is hard, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, yada yada yada, that type of thing. Okay? So it's all about the programming. So what I do is I go in and I talk to your librarian, your subconscious mind. That part of you that created all those memories and stored them. What I do is I go in and I get the subconscious to go and look into the memories and find all those negative experiences that restrict or limit or hinder or stop you from functioning as a trader. All of the emotional issues, the anger issues, getting out of trades too early, just taking a small profit, being in denial when the trade goes against you. All of those things. Now when we do that, we end up with less negative experiences. Therefore we now have more positive experiences. Therefore the corresponding belief system changes. Before you thought you couldn't, now you can. And as a direct result, your programming changes, so your quality of your trading changes, simply by doing that. And we can test it to make sure that all of those negatives have been cleared. Does that make sense? That's how you do anything and everything in your life. Everything works in the same way. So we can deal with not only trading, but relationship issues, money issues, finances, all of those daily issues that we have to get us through life. So it's all about beliefs. Henry Ford said, if you think you can do something, or if you think you can't, you're right. And beliefs are very important because they affect everything that we do. We now know that sports people, golfers, tennis players, footballers, even dance players, snooker players, they all have a mindset coach. They have somebody to help them with that anxiety, that stress, that worry, that concern that stops them from playing at their best. And those people who are at the top all have therapists to help them with those psychological issues. Your self-esteem, what you think about yourself, relationships, how good you are all down to beliefs. Your prosperity, whether you're rich, whether you think you can be rich, whether you deserve to be rich, whether you're willing to receive all the benefits of a trading lifestyle may not play out the way you intended. Your job performance, mental and physical health, They all rely on the belief system. And if it's negative, we have to change it. So with that regard, the subconscious is either working with you, goal-orientated, or it's working against you, it's sabotaging you, it's holding you back to some degree. So if you have some struggle in life, it's usually at the core level, the subconscious level. And what you may not be aware of is the majority of your core life beliefs are created before you reach the age of 6. Before the age of 6. Just think about where you're sitting now, how old you are. So it happens for 2 reasons. The brainwave frequencies of a child up to the age of 6 are predominantly in theta delta. You at the moment, your brainwave frequencies are in beta, conscious awake. Hopefully you are, and I haven't put you to sleep yet. When you start to relax, you go into alpha. When you go into deeper alpha, into light sleep, theta, deeper sleep, and then when you have rapid eye movement, you go into delta. In hypnosis, we work at roughly the theta level. That's where we put positive suggestions in to change programming that you've got, to change your quality of life. Children are in a permanent trance. So anything you say, your parents say, your brothers, siblings, people of influence, aunties and uncles, your doctors, teachers, clergymen, vicars, all of those, they have an influence on you because you look up to them. And you'll take that information on as gospel. Now that information at that level becomes the foundation because your subconscious mind when you're born is blank. You have operating systems that cause you to breathe and bodily functions. But it's just like a brand new laptop computer. It's got operating software, but there's nothing in the memories. You haven't put any information in there. But you've been programmed because of your parents and family and those people that you socialized, lived with, played with. Now when you build a belief, you have to put a book onto a shelf in your library that's empty. And every other time you have a similar experience, you get another book and another book. If you're trying to build a building, you have to put the foundation stones in. And on those foundations, you add more and more and more until you build the bigger picture, the bigger house. The belief system is created. So that's what it does. When we have enough of those, we create patterns. We put meaning to those experiences, and they become our belief system. So, conscious versus subconscious. The conscious mind is very poor when it comes to tasking. 1 to 3 things. That's about your limit. If you are listening to somebody on the telephone and you're trying to type on the screen and read it at the same time, some of you might struggle to do that because you're focusing on the screen, excuse me, and you don't hear the person. Now, secretaries train to do that. They listen, yes, yes, and they have a conversation. But if you actually ask them to try and sort out or put together a shopping bill, a shopping list, then something would fade in and fade out. They don't have that focused attention all the time. Now, the subconscious is 1,000,000 times more powerful. It's estimated that we can process 11 million bits of information every second. That's a phenomenal processing power. So we can do thousands of things that the conscious mind can't. Now, if you've got a goal, if there's something you want to do, a dream, a vision of your future, something you want to work towards, that's what you consciously think. But if the subconscious does not agree with it, you need neural coherence. If you don't have them in alignment, then the subconscious will always win. I call the conscious mind a pebble, a stone, the subconscious Mount Everest. If I throw the stone at Mount Everest, is it going to affect? No. But if Mount Everest wants to collapse and fall all over the stone and pull it apart, it can do so. That is the sheer power. So, if you don't have them in alignment, the subconscious will always win. Say this out loud for me. I earn £1 million a year. Just say that for me. Say it once again for me. How does that feel? Is that, I know you'd like to consciously think that's great, fantastic, but it doesn't quite sit with you. It doesn't feel quite right. That's your subconscious going, No way. You're not having that. All right? So unless you get them in neural coherence, where the subconscious can work in your favour, it will work against you every single time. So we know it processes vast amounts of data. While it's processing the data, it's accessing your existing memories, it's cross-referencing, updating, and creating new programs as it goes on. But also, there's a part of the brain that's looking out for danger, and it has been for 500 million years, and it's done a very good job because you're sitting here now. Evolution has carried on for 500 million years. Every single second of the day, it is looking for threats. Okay, so it does that. We'll go into that in a little while. And it's also monitoring your entire energetic system, your blood system, all of your organs, your hormones, all the chemicals, whether you're hot, whether you're cold, whether you're thirsty, whether you need to eat food, whether your nails are growing, your head, all of those things, it does without you being consciously aware. When it's accessing this data, it's called a transderivational search. That's a big word for this time, and I like to call it a Google search. If you go onto the computer and you type in dog, you get every single dog on the planet and every story about dogs. You don't just get Alsatians or poodles, you get everything. So when it comes to trading, when you lose a trade, the subconscious has to access that data to find out what it means to you. And you won't just get loss of money, loss of the trade, you will get all the losses in your life. Losing money, losing car keys, losing your toys, losing your friends, losing the races at school. You get everything that you've ever lost. And comes with that, all the emotion with it, and it's painful and it's hurtful. You get it all. You can't stop this process. Don't think about a red balloon. You've had to, just to keep up with me. Don't think about the stage, don't think about the screen, don't think about the lights, don't think about me. You have to keep up with the conversation. It's accessing that fast. And depending on the information that it receives, it will implement a program. Now the other thing that's interesting about the subconscious, we have two extremes. We have pain and pleasure. The subconscious will either try and protect you from the pain and move you towards pleasure. So when trades specifically go wrong for you, it becomes painful because nobody likes to lose anything. You've been programmed from childhood not to lose anything. So the emotions kick in and it becomes painful. So the subconscious will try to move you in towards pleasure. And sometimes it will do that by putting a psychological block on the problem. So you either don't see the trade going against you, or you deny that it's going to go against you. And then you start thinking that it's not going to go down, you're not going to lose, now it's going to turn around. And you start to try and justify why that trade is going to turn around. Simply between pain and pleasure, you go into denial. So this is the part that's the interesting part, the amygdala. This is part of your mammalian brain. We'll come on to that in a minute. It's responsible for the fight, or freeze mode. When this is triggered, it releases cortisol and epinephrine into the brain, which then starts the heart rate pumping, blood pressure increases, pushing blood to the legs and the arms, so you can either fight or run. It's as simple as that. And it's constantly on guard, it's looking out for you. It has done so for millions of years, and it's still doing it today. Now, while we were hunters and gatherers, it kept you alive. I'm going to throw this away in a minute. It kept us alive. So it was better to be fearful and worry that there was a tiger behind a bush, so you're ready and prepared for it to fight, than be cocky and go, no, it's not there, there's nothing there, and it jumps out, sneaks and kills you. Okay? So it's constantly on guard, and it's still operating today. It's still operating today, and I'll show you how. Here we've got three brains. I know it said that we don't use the one as much as we should, but starting back 500 million years ago, we have what we call the reptilian brain, the green brain. This runs on instinct, primal drives, so air, food, water, shelter or protection, reproduction. Reptiles are basically solitary creatures, things like scorpions and snakes. They go away, they do. If they find each other, they might fight. Otherwise, they come together once a year and breed. Then 150 million years ago, we developed the limbic system in the mammalian brain. This is where we got up into trees as monkeys. So mammals, group animals, start to suckle their young, they're better in groups. They can protect each other more. And then 1.5 to 3 million years ago, we developed a new brain, the neocortex, or we call the higher thinking brain. This is where we create stories. Now, this part of the brain takes up 20% of your body's energy, just to think. Each of these brains operates individually and collectively. When something triggers the amygdala in the mammalian brain, it will override your conscious neocortex, your thinking brain. You haven't got time to think. It's getting you out of the situation. Well, there's a target, it's only 20 yards. No, you haven't got time. Get out. It's as simple as that, and it will override it. You're not aware of this. Sometimes in summer you might be aware of it. You're walking along, and all of a sudden you flinch quite quickly, and a fly hits you in the eye. But it hits the eyelid. You didn't see it, but your subconscious mind did, and that part that's looking out for you closed your eye and turned you away. You said, oh, that was lucky, I didn't really got that in the eye. You just accept it as normal. So these operate individually and collectively. From the time we're in the tree, should I say, right up to present day. Now, as Neanderthal man, we suffered with pain. Today we don't suffer, we've evolved. We live in houses now, not caves. We can go and get food, we can go and get water, shelter, safety. We can get clothing, we don't have to hide anymore. Everything has changed. So now we've changed the term pain into the word stress. But what is stress? Every fearful, anxious, worried thought, failing global economy, money issues, relationships, wars, Brexit, Donald Trump, all of these things are stressful. And why are they stressful? Because it puts us in a position where we don't have the skills or abilities to cope with them mentally, emotionally, or physically. Now, when this is triggered, 3 systems are shut down: digestion, reproduction, and the immune system. And it's the immune system that's important here. Okay? This is run, the fight, flight, or freeze scenario is run by the sympathetic nervous system. This is part of the autonomic system. There are 2 sides to this. The sympathetic sympathizes with a threat, and it gets you out of the situation. Not conducive to a trader's mindset. You're on alert, you're tense, you're nervous, you can't think consciously because the amygdala overrides your conscious thinking. This is where you get your foggy thoughts. Your parasympathetic nervous system shuts all that down, relaxes you, chills you out. That's where you need to be. That's what we do on the trading course. We get you to that frame of mind, so you're neutral to these emotional stimulus. When we have these stresses at the bottom, whether they're finance, relationships, work, going to work, overweight, too many hours, conflict at work, road rage, noises, caretaking for elderly people, children, they cause us stress. And this is your internal response to an external stimulus. Then it affects you physically, mentally, emotionally. And this is constantly being triggered, and this is why we need to deal with it. 80% is psychological when it comes to trading. 20% practical. Now, we're talking about fusion, we're talking about automated trading. And this is the beauty of automated trading. It's taken away the human aspect. You don't have to think. You don't have to work lot size out. You don't have to work out when you need to get into a trade, how to manage it, how to get out of a trade with maximum profit, minimal loss. All you need to do is turn it on and turn it off. When you turn it on, it will work out where the market's going, it will get you into trade. If the trade goes against the direction you intended, it will counter that and it will work its way around it and bring you out in profit. So the emotional frame of mind is not triggered. You can actually sit back and watch it working without getting anxious or nervous or worried. Now, the thing with automated trading, it's new. And like all new things on the block, people initially deny it. They try and sabotage it. They say it doesn't work because there's no proof around. And just look through history. People wanted to fly. They wanted to be like the birds. People said you can't do it. You're too fat, you're too heavy, you're too overweight, you don't have the muscle power. So they put on lumps of wood on their wings and it started flapping them, trying to get off the ground. It didn't succeed. Then they made machines that bounced up and down. They didn't work until the Wright brothers came along. They had flight. You accept it now. You can phone up now, book a flight and go anywhere in the world. You accept it because you know it's commonplace. You're comfortable with it. Anything that's new is not comfortable to the subconscious. It likes regular things. It likes to know what's going on around it. Your comfort zone. This is when you talk to people and you say, how's things going at work? Oh, same old, same old. What do you mean, same old, same old? You're in your comfort zone. Okay? Look at Roger Bannister. In the 1950s, he said he was going to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Scientists, psychologists, doctors all thought he'd lost the plot. Why? Because he challenged what was accepted thinking of the time. He dared to challenge it. In 1954, he did it. He ran a mile in under 4 minutes. And if you want to go onto YouTube, you can actually see that race. It's in black and white. We had black and white before we had colour, which is what you accept now. In fact, back those days, we had black and white TVs, which was so big and so big and so big. Okay? We didn't own televisions in those days. We rented them. Okay? Now you've got phones. You have phones all the time. You talk to people. You accept it. You can actually have smart TV, so you can go from your phone straight onto the screen. It's something you've come to understand and accept. It's commonplace. This is the beauty of what Sam is going to show you tonight. That this automated trading is here to stay. He's got verifiable statistics that prove it works. And it works very, very well. It means that you can actually trade while you're asleep. You can make money while you sleep without the emotional content, without being upset emotionally, without getting angry. I hope I've given you some idea as to how your brain works, your subconscious mind works, in a very simplistic way. I will be here at the end of the session if you want to have if you've got any questions for me. But I'd like to hand back now to Sam. That's my presentation over. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope we can give you some food for thought. And I look forward to talking to you afterwards. Thank you very much.
Awesome, I thought it was going to stop there. Awesome info. So we're going to get on to the meat of the lecture now. We're going to talk more about our brokers, then we're going to go into semi-automated trading, and then also into fully automated. Now, it's very important that when you get into the kind of line of automation, that you have a good broker, yeah, because you want your positions filled when you want them filled. You don't want any slippage, you don't want any of those issues. And throughout the years of trading, I found that ActiTrader are the best guys for this. They're very trustworthy guys to work with, and we've never had any troubles with our order execution, which is key. So what I like about these guys is obviously they're founded by traders, and they understand what us traders want. We want our life to be easy, right? We just want to get into a trade, get out of a trade, and actually do what we're doing when we click it. We use MetaTrader 4, and they provide that. It's the world's most popular trading platform, and it's what all of our automated systems are programmed on. Yeah, so it's our expert advisors all run on MetaTrader 4, and they give us access to the wide range of FX instruments, commodities, and indices. And most importantly for us, our tight spreads and our executions. Now I'm going to go on just a little bit about their benefits and exactly why we use them. Now when I got involved in trading, I got caught up in a brokerage collapse with MF Global, and that from then on I've always researched my brokers to make sure that I'm working with someone that's trustworthy. you know, and when I got caught up in that gap, so it was quite a sticky thing, it was a learning curve, you know, you learn from your experiences, right? And so obviously it brings me on my last point here. They operate in a secure and highly regulated environment. Why we like them, they're award-winning. That's always great. You know, working with a brokerage that you can A, trust, but 2, are always expanding, always growing, and also getting recognition for that. They're FCA regulated, and they work with segregating their client funds, and that's across Tier 1 banks. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of comfort working with their brokerage. Now, one thing they are really good at is their customer support. You know, when I have issues, or if I want to open an account, or I want to have an adaptation to my leverage or something like that, these guys are just straight on the point, live chat, and they really get it sorted as quick as they can. Again, fast, reliable execution. I don't want to have to worry about that. It's just something else that we want to stay away from, stay clear from, and so my positions can just get in and out of the market. And they are an STP, which is known as straight-through processing, so there's no dealer intervention. And a lot of brokers say that they're this, but they don't actually mean it. And you may have heard about that in the media with some other brokers. So it's nice to know that these guys mean what they say. Here's just some of their awards that they've gained since 2007. You know, I'm not going to go through them all, but I mean, look, you can definitely tell how recognised these guys are. Let's just take a few from here. I mean, recognition, strongest brand association with being trustworthy. And I want to work with someone that's trustworthy as much as the next person. And it's always about making sure we have that right person with us. They're expanding massively, launching their China operations back in 2015. And I mean, look at 2016, their monthly client trading volume of over 100 billion. It puts Corp among the top 10 global FX providers. And their expansion into Latin America, Germany, and the Middle East. So they're growing massively. And the good thing for me is, my account manager's a call away. I like that. I like being able to phone them up, have a chat if I need to, get anything changed, adapted, accounts opened, things like that. And it just makes everything ease. I don't want to worry about that when I'm trading or worrying about anything else, but having my head in my charts, watching my expert advisors work, and getting in and out of the market when the volatility is there. So we're going to have a bit of fun now in regards to what it takes to be a trader. Now, I'm hoping we've got some confident people in the audience. Really hoping we do have some confident people in the audience. So, raise your hand in here if you're a trader already. Awesome, we've got a few. Wicked. Okay. Well, we get asked this question all the time. What does it take to be a successful trader? What do I have to be prepared for? What could happen in the markets? What should my mindset be? You know, how good do I have to be at maths? What degree do I need? These get asked all the time. But past this, there's something else that's slightly more needed than just a degree and, you know, being good at a few other things. So I want to see just exactly how good of a trader some of you are in the room. Obviously, it all comes down to there is no substitute for hard work. And, you know, we may be in a log cabin here, travelling around the UK, enjoying trading wherever we want to, but there's still hard work, long hours, and not a lot of people see. And a lot of people may not know, but in the early days when I was trading out in my bedroom, putting in 16 to 20-hour days, constantly trying to perfect my performance in the market. Now, I want to put a test on. I want to put a test on for you guys, and I'm going to ask in a minute, not just yet, for an individual to join me on stage. I'm going to ask you a series of awkward, on-the-spot questions. I'm going to ask you questions about mental maths. I want you to face the audience and tell them the answers to mental math questions. I'm going to ask you questions about your personal life, your life aspirations, and your gym life. How much do you go to the gym? When was the last time you went to the gym? Things like that. And I want quick fire answers, so on the spot, really quick answers. Can I have a volunteer? I'm looking for one person, somebody. We got one? Oh, he's up. Brilliant. Oh, we didn't even have an opinion. There we go. Brilliant. What's the point? Do we have one more? Come on, look how many there are. I thought you said you were all successful traders. Yeah, it's fine. It's a bit daunting, eh? Basically. I'll do it. Right, so is no one else? No one else? Okay, brilliant, come on. Give a round of applause. Yeah, good. Come on. Face everyone. So we've got 2 volunteers, clearly. Right, question 1. What's your name? Tell everyone else. Go, have a shout to the mic.
Valdez is my name.
Valdus?
Joe.
Joe. There we go. Valdus and Joe. Brilliant. So, for that note, very happy that you guys came up and joined me up on here. Yes. Yes, we do. Brilliant. So now, can we give them a round of applause and go and take a seat? Having a few pints on there, So let me explain what just happened there. Had a lot of people with their hands up. No worries. Had a lot of people with their hands up. But they actually took the risk, okay? So they were willing to perform under pressure in front of all of you guys, you know? Put their reputation on the line in front of their peers. They may have come with their friends, family, and have to face you guys and, you know, be daunted by that. You know, you guys may have judged them, laughed at them if they got the questions wrong, you know, or be ready to potentially feel awkward and uncomfortable. Now, how much does that relate to trading? If I ever lose a trade, people are going to laugh at me, judge me, all of that, yeah? You've got to be willing to perform under pressure as a trader, you know? You're trading the financial markets here, you know, there's a little bit of pressure involved, isn't it? And that's the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Someone believing that they have that capability. And so, you know, really well done to those guys who are actually putting themselves out there and taking that risk. Because at the end of the day, if I was going to ask you to come up here and say, all I want you to do is tell me your first name and I'm going to give you 50 quid. And I was expecting a lot more people. So you've saved me some money, guys, so thanks for that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. And just a little bit of fun. So I want you to think about that because it wasn't really that difficult. But because they came up in the unknown, they didn't know what was going to happen, they didn't know what I was going to say to them on stage. And that's what it takes when you get into the financial markets, yeah? You're going to be put on the spot, a lot of people, your peers are going to judge you, but if you stick to it and you become persistent, you can be very successful within the Forex markets. And the great part is automated trading. Now, when we get onto automated trading, we can take away some of these factors that just happen there. We can take away mental maths. You don't have to worry about performing, calculating your risk or anything like that. Because why? The expert advisors and software do that. That's based on your inputs and your variables that you can create. Especially if you're using something like Fusion, you're not putting your reputation on the line. It's my reputation on the line, right? We all love to play the blame game. I think everyone does. If something goes wrong, you can go, well, that was his fault. You know? But I'm willing to do that because I've been in this game for quite a while now. You know, prepared to be judged in questions. Again, you get to negate that, don't you, by going automated, because again, that just falls back on me. Unfortunately, I won't be able to help you in the last one, potentially feel awkward and uncomfortable on the stage, because I don't know how you're going to deal with open losses or open wins in the market. You may be happy or you may panic. So we can negate nearly, you know, 75% of those on that list when it comes to automated trading. So the types of trading that we do at Standard Co Trading is obviously manual. We're going to use semi-automated and fully automated. We're going to focus on the bottom two here today, semi-automated and fully automated. You know, when I was doing this presentation as well, I was looking up a lot of facts and figures because it's becoming such more of a kind of topic is automated trading. And Financial Times only a couple of weeks ago was stating that technology is outsmarting the human investor and also automation is easing into the financial profession. So for me, it's something that I take very seriously and something that I always continue to progress and develop on automation. So I want to talk to you about a basic study from Oregon Research Institute, which they carried out over 10 years, 1960 to 1970. And it was a simple experiment. They experimented whether doctors and how basically good their judgments were when it came to looking at diagnosis. And the study found that it was best to check those clinical tests with an algorithm. So, you know, that kind of gives you that state, but why is the question? Why is that happening? Why do we need an algorithm that's going to back up someone that's a market expert that needs that help? Why? Unfortunately, we're all human, aren't we? Humans get tired, we have days off, we need to sleep. Yeah? Humans make mistakes, human error. And you've got to remember that automated system is just taking inputs of variables and executing those in the market. So it's not really going to have, it's not going to get tired, is it? It's not going to have a day off unless you're using a cheap VPS or something. Humans make mistakes, it's down to coding, that's back-tested practice, developing it, making sure it works on your scales. And humans become inconsistent with rule-based activities, following something day in, day out, day in, day out. You know, accidents happen, errors happen, and you know, we don't want to be in that scenario. I absolutely love this quote as well from it. Only rarely, if at all, will the outcome favour the continued employment of a man over the model of the man, concluded the pivotal research paper in 1970. The judgment hangs over the men and women of the investment management industry. I think that's fantastic, you know. In regards to that, it just shows how we're steering away, definitely to semi-automated trading, being more powerful, and then fully automated with overlooking and monitoring. So what did I do on that note? I wanted to make my life easier. I'm quite a lazy guy. I like not doing a lot. I think that's quite fair to say. If I can find a shortcut, I definitely will. And so my shortcuts was telling me when I should enter the market and when I should exit the market. So I didn't have to sit there and look at my charts all the time. I could either, be watching a movie. At the time, we used to play Xbox back in the day. Just sit there, play Xbox, let my laptop go off with the alerts. Ding ding. Right, I need to go to work. Sit down, place my trade. So I designed a cluster algo. Now we're going to go into depth on all of these, and it works on a 5 and 15 minute, and it basically predicts turn points within the market. The trademate algo, it trades on a 60-minute time frame. And then also Fusion, which trades on a 5-minute time frame. Now, we've got to sleep for at least, 6 hours a day roughly? So when we're thinking about that, this algo can constantly work whilst we're sleeping. And over a month period of time, we're picking up so many more hours of the market trading than what we could do if it was manual. Or I'd need more manpower. So let's start on our semi-automated algorithms. So, what does it help with? It helps with discipline. Yeah, you've got something else backing an entry. So it's not just you making that decision. You've got an actual alert system that's coming in and saying, this looks like a potential zone where you should enter this market. Consistency, entry and exit management. So it's saying, well, you've entered the trade, here may be a good time to get out. So when you've got semi-automated systems like that in place, it gives you that kind of a prompt of rethink what you're doing. If you're holding this trade, it's telling you to exit, maybe you want to have a look at why. Is it right for you, is it not? And obviously it reduces the role of emotions in your decision making. You may go, no, I don't want to do this. And it's telling you to buy, and it's giving you that reason. Alerts, again. The problem is with manual trading, you miss alerts, right? You're looking at so many different charts. If you're like me, I've got 6 screens, so depending on what I'm looking at, lucky for me, I only trade pound, dollar, and FTSE. But for those who trade massive amounts of currencies, they may be looking at 6, 9, 12 currencies. You're not going to catch everything on a 5 and 15 minutes unless you've got an alert system that's going to actively play that. And this is my little writing down form here. Humans and robots, right? That's what we're doing here. So we've basically got a system that's prompting us with a decision, and then we're then deciding whether or not we should enter it. We're not actually fully taking that decision. We've got to make that decision ourselves. And that's semi-automated. So we're going to talk about cluster algorithm and why I designed it, but also how I designed it. It's a lot simpler than a lot of people think, but it made my life easier. So it's a 2-part algorithm, both oscillator, so it's on the chart, and also it shows the entries on the chart. So you've got an oscillator and actual kind of like arrows. So this tool was designed to help beginners predict turn points within the market, where I should be looking to be interested in joining the market. When the markets are moving sideways and you have really boring days, there's no point sitting there, right? But if you get an alert saying this is a potential turn point in this market and that I should look to join it, then I'm going to have a look at the alert, analyse what I see on the charts, look at my basic technicals, support, resistance, trend lines. Okay, it's in line with my trading plan, so I can execute it. Now, that's made my life easier because I'm quite a busy guy, meetings, emails, so on and so forth, and I just get an alert, I turn up really loud in my office, and everyone gets annoyed with me, and it just goes bing, and then I go run to my office, like a dog getting called, and sit down and start my job. Now, for you guys, I'm thankful for everyone coming, and for you guys, it's free for everyone that's joining and opening an account with Active Trading today. So that's something that we're giving away to you guys in regards to that. So this is some of the things that it does. Analyzes the current market trend, shows buys and sell zones. And I want to break this down for you because when I started, I used to use the stochastics and the RSI, Relative Strength Index, for those that don't know. And I use these to help predict those turn points in the market for me. But I could never tell when was the right point to jump in. I can never tell, right, it's going to go back up now, or what phase are we in? Are we in a sell phase, buy phase, indecision phase? And so I really wanted to kind of pinpoint this. I'm very much a perfectionist. I want to know when's the right point, not maybe this, maybe that. So, these are the two that I used to use, and it used to create, again, I don't like clutter, I'm very much a minimalist. So having these on my charts just is more clutter having two. I was like, I really want one. You know, you can see that a basic understanding of what these oscillators do. So stochastic, when it goes below the 20, so when it's on the lower side, it means it's cheap. When it's above the 80 level, which I use, standard is 30 and 70, but I use really big extremities, 20 and 80. And so when it goes above that, it shows that there's potential fact that sellers may now come to the market because there's been so much buying going on. I wonder if I've got a pointer at all. If not, can one of the guys just run a pointer up? You know the pointer? So I can show you on the next slide. But yeah, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to merge these together and smooth out what I was looking at. So that's what I did. So I took these, I basically used the RSI 6. So I used that over 6 bars so that I can see exactly kind of what I'm doing, where the turn points are, and then 533 for stochastic, and kind of optimize that for myself over the 5 and 15 minute time frame. And then I came up with this one, which is my own at the bottom. Samuel Code Trading Market Strength. 3 is just the version number. But can you see how it changes colour now? Yeah, it goes from red to green to black. Now, when it goes from red to green to black, all that is showing us is that what phase are we in? Are we in a selling phase? Are we in a buying phase? Or are we in indecision? Now, thank you. Obviously, we want to be interested when it's changing colour, right? From when it goes from red to black. So, when you're looking at the two RSIs and stochastics, it's like, well, cheap, but I just don't know yet. You know, where's that confirmation? This gives that to us for when it turns from black to green on an oscillator. But don't forget, we've also got an on-charts indicator as well. So we use them both in tandem with each other to get a better result. Now, when you see the big green rally kind of go from the low 20s over here, go all the way up here to 80, that for me on a chart would actually be, just as I trade quite a bit, I know that that would be a rally on there. And then this would potentially be an exit if I was in a buy from this indecision down here. And if it was in a downtrend, depending on my technicalities and what I use in the chart, I may look to sell here and then exit here when it turns black again. But then looking at the two RSI stochastics is too messy, right? So I just wanted to get things real simple, and that's how I made it. I pretty much just merged the indicators together, created a smoother result by adding a moving average to it, and we generated this at the bottom. And that's pretty much how the cluster algorithm was developed by our in-house programmers, which, you know, I'm always pretty much just getting them to code things. So I've coded probably at least 60, 70 different things, and from that I use 4. So it's, you know, it's, a lot goes into these, a lot of time and effort goes into them. So I want to show you some on charts. What they are. You can kind of get the idea now why I call it a cluster, right? Because you've got all these little dots. So for those that don't trade, let's just give a basic understanding. So we've got 2 moving averages on here. They're both EMAs, exponential moving averages. The red ones are 50, the green ones are 200. So one's a short-term moving average, one's a long-term. Simple idea behind this: red below green, 50 below 200. It's your short-term moving average below your long-term. Shows us that potentially the market is going to carry on moving to the downside. Yeah. When red's above green, it's a buyer's market. Now, if you took basic technicals into account, we see these small little blue dots, don't we? See these small little blue dots, and then you see the big one. Well, the blue dots are alerts popping up on your screen, alerting you that, do you know what? This could be a good time to start buying this market. When you have a big dot, now's the time to get in. So it's giving you, get ready right now. Yeah? So it's giving you that kind of build up of, right, I need to be on my computer right about now. See here on this cell, you get the rally. Green's going up, shooting up to near 90, it turns black, and then all of a sudden it turns red, and you get the sellers, and it says, right, now time to join this market to sell. Now, if we're just to take these based off of no technicalities whatsoever, but just off of what it's signaling, you're still going to do okay, but you're not going to do great, alright? So you've got an entry here, buy in here, where you could make some profit. Not that great. You've got a buy in here, tells you to exit here, that's profit. You get lots, and then a win and a win. So how would you trade this? You pretty much just get in when it's below here and look to exit when it's above the highs, just using a basic, cheap and expensive levels in regards to the oscillator. Nice sell here, you would have lost on these buys, and I'm not afraid to admit that, you're not going to have a foolproof system where you lose. But the point is that if you use it wisely, it's a good backup indicator. And so you can see here like this, perfect fallback. Yeah, we had a strong rally off of these, which are called GMT pivots, so they're pivotal points. So this is S2, rallies off of S2, comes up to this level here, and it's kind of taking off these lows here and this high, which is resistance. Individuals will enter short here and look to take profit when it goes below this level. Now, if you're using this with technicals and you get those signals, What a great thing to have backing up your reason for entry. I clicked the wrong one. So this is my favourite one. This is pound against US dollar. I don't even have to see that at the top there. I just know that. I just want to double check that. Yeah, pound dollar. Right. Now when we look at this, it's fantastic because all of my stuff really works well on pound dollar just because I love programming with pound dollar. It just seems like that right currency. So here on the left, look, it tells us to get in here, exit, well, probably exit there. So not much profit. You have one entry here or one entry here, so you can take it either, and it tells us to exit down here. What a great move. This is the awesome part. This is the part why I designed it. Now, how many of you sometimes enter into trades too early? Come on, be honest. Yeah, that's the problem, right? We get too keen. We don't want to miss it. You know? And so what this is doing is it's analysing the kind of amount of momentum within the market. And so it's saying, get ready here. When most of us probably would have joined in, wouldn't we? Yeah? Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. And it's saying, actually, you know what? There's no reason to enter short just yet. And it gives us the entry all the way up here. So we miss a little bit, just waiting for a couple of sellers' days. And we get a good move down here, giving us profit. Entry here, small profit here. Entry here, profit here. Nice. Entry either here or here, with profit here. It then says, you know what, there's a selling potential coming in, but it actually never sets up, so we don't get to join in on that one, unfortunately. But that's not to worry. We get a nice sell here and profit. Now, if we look at this as an example, obviously we looked at the previous one, there was a few losses, but if we look at this one as an example, there's actually none. Yeah, we've got 1 win, 2, 3, 4, 5 win, 6, 7, 8. And so over above, if we've got just a 60% hit rate, and we're making 1.5 times what we're risking, then that's going to be a consistent basis for making profits. Let's go for another example. This is Aussie dollar, okay? Market's chopping, ranging, and these are all recent charts, yeah? We're looking at February, so not too long ago. Now you can see on the left, it's like, we may need to start buying now, and then it changes its mind and says no. We have a sell entry here, we can take profit down here, or just below here. We get another sell off the top of this rally, it comes down here. Now the good thing about the semi-automated algo is that it's waiting for confirmation. So it's waiting for those sellers to come into the market to confirm the direction. It's not just saying, this is our high price, let's get out. It's saying, let's get ready until we get that confirmation that they're now joining. We get another entry here, exit down here, another entry here, potential exit here, but to be honest with you, you might have lost that because you wouldn't have held that throughout that position there. Here, exit down here. But what I want you to be thinking is, I wouldn't take that trade, maybe you're saying to yourself. But the good thing is, if you just drew a resistance line in, you may have taken off that spike technically, but then you've got this backing it up as a secondary level, haven't you? Which makes you feel more confident that you've got something else backing up your position. It then tells you that there's a buy down here, off of this support level around here, or a zone, support zone some of you may use. And tells us to exit up here, and then join in for a sell. The market stagnates, you may have closed, the moving averages, cross over to a buy side, you may not. But this is one of those tools that's really great for backing up your manual entries, and also giving you a little bit more confidence with your position. So we're going to move on to the trademate. Now the trademate is for those kind of individuals that don't have time to sit in front of your charts all day. You may have time to check them every hour, every couple of hours, and so you want to feel confident when you're taking positions, right? So, this trade is the 1 hour time frame, and the cool thing that I like about this algo, which makes it different from the cluster, is that it rates the entries. So it will give you either a standard entry, or it will give you like a gold entry saying that we've got a really good position set up. And what it's doing there is it's using a system called MTF, multiple time frame analysis. So all it's doing is it's looking at the high time frame and saying, is this in the same direction as the 1 hour time frame? Are these both in line with each other? Because if they are, then we've got momentum backing that position. And it means that you can feel a bit more confident when you're holding that trade long term, right? If, say, for example, the 1 hour's in an uptrend and the 4 hours in an uptrend, you're going to be comfortable for at least, what, the next 4, 8 hours that it's going to carry on moving in that direction. Whereas if it was in a downtrend and the 1 hour's in an up, you're sitting there, it's giving you mixed signals, right? So the entries aren't as great. So that's what I like about it. Now let's show you some examples. Again, these are all real examples, real signals, and you may have some people in here. Anyone here use trademate at the moment? Anyone? One, put one in here. Cool. So on the left here, what it's doing is it's signaling the exact point that you should enter and the exact point that you should exit, which is cool. So it does the work for you. So it's saying that you should enter here and exit over here. This one here was the second entry, so if you missed that one, you could have taken this one and got out down here. This one wasn't that great. This one lost, and so did this one. Okay. This one over here said to get in here and then get out on this bar down here, and this one said get in here and get out down there. So we had a few losses and we had a few wins. Now these are just basic entries, right? They're just using this time frame, so they don't have that what you call the MTF backing it up, multiple time frames. So it's just running off of this one time frame, saying that this is what we should be applying. Now when we look at this one, the market's a bit more trendy, right? The market's moving up. It looks a lot more stable. You've got higher lows, higher highs within the market. The technicals are in line, and we get some good signals. We get an entry over here and an exit here. We get this distance here. It's not bad. This one here didn't do too well, depending on if it was at break even or not, if you have that in your trading system. And if not, you could have got this great one down here, which is kind of off the previous low, and then rallied all the way up to here, giving us a nice distance level profit. Two entries here, could have chosen either one, and given us profit up on the top left there. So this one is giving you the exact entry and the exact exit. The cluster algo is giving you potential interest points. You could use them in line with each other. But with this, it's really nice to know that we've got the high time frame backing us, and we will get excited on our trade for anyway when we get a gold arrow, yeah, because like we've got a real one, we've got ourselves a run. This is what it looks like. And when this starts happening, we get excited because obviously you can see it tells us to enter here and exit here for profit, enter here and exit here for profit, enter here, exit here for profit, enter here, exit here for profit. One of these two and exit there. So you can see how much of a difference it makes when we have that high time frame window. Our win rate's just gone up massively, as you can see. So it comes down to that trader. What do they want? Do they want a more volume of trades and a lower hit rate? Or do you want a lower volume of trades and a higher hit rate? And that all comes down to personal preference and exactly kind of, how you trade as an individual. We're going to move on to Fusion, which is my baby. I love Fusion. It's made my life easy. And I talk about it like it's a person, which is really boring, isn't it? I need to get out of it more. You would never guess how it's made. And you'll never guess why it was made either, which is even more funny. So, why I created Fusion. So back in the day, I sound like I'm talking like I'm 80 or something, eh? I absolutely love tea. I love tea. I'm a big tea enthusiast. I could go to the nightclub and still order a cup of tea, yeah? And that's just who I am. And so, I used to open a large amount of trades, right? And I used to panic when I had to leave my desk, because obviously I want to monitor my trades. So when I was in the kitchen, I was like, no, what's my trades doing? And I would start panicking. So I created a small expert advisor that would manage my trades when I turn automated trading on, when I was in the kitchen. So when it came to it, I'd manage the trades. I thought, awesome, it's doing really well. I'll come back from having a cup of tea and it's closed out a trade. I'm thinking, this is good. Maybe we'll up the level from here and I'll go out for a longer lunch today. And then the time got longer and longer and longer until we pretty much became fully automated. We had to move away from the name Mr. T, because no one's going to take it serious, and move away to Fusion, which is based on a lot of details and inputs from that. So, some stats about Fusion. It's been live since November 2016. It's been coded and tested since the start of 2016, which was pretty much when I made it. But I didn't want to get it out there and go live with it until I fully ran it, tested it myself, and kind of saw the stats and figures before put my name out there and let other people run it. We've got hundreds of users already over the last 5 months using it across the globe, with over 3 million plus in capital across our partner brokers such as AxiTrader. And it's outperforming most benchmarks with monthly gains of 4 to 12%. At the moment, I believe we're up 4% this month on low risk, and we're up about 7.5% on high risk. Okay, so to give you an understanding. Do we have any Fusion users in the room? Raise your hands. We do. Awesome. Can we just do something just for the people that aren't or don't have Fusion? I didn't expect so many here. But could you just stand up? I'm not going to ask you any awkward questions. Could you just stand up for me, those Fusion users? I'm not going to ask you any awkward questions, don't worry. Awesome. So, everyone just have a look around. I just want you to remain standing. Remain standing for me. Oh, you jumped out quick, eh? Right, can you remain standing if you've made over £1,000? Can you remain standing if you've made over £2,000? Can you remain standing if you've made over £5,000? Can you remain standing if you've made over £10,000? Brilliant. So that kind of gives you an idea from just some of the people in here that they've made money using the system, they're running it, and they're comfortable with it. And it's great to see you guys here actually coming to support me, so thank you for myself. You know, some guys in these accounts with over 100,000 that are running it and making 4 to 12% a month. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's designed to work on cable, also known as pound against the US dollar. It's my favourite currency, and we're going to go into the workings of Fusion as well. It's pretty much designed to work on high volatility, and as you know, there's a lot going on at the moment around the pound, and especially more so today with the Brexit, right? I mean, what a day for Theresa May to join me in regards to this event. So, you know, the more the volatility that we have in the market, the more Fusion does. The more Fusion enters the market, exits the market. And as long as the volatility remains high and keeps progressing higher, we're going to end up making more and more. And so we don't really mind which direction the market moves, but as long as it moves. And that's the great thing about this. And you know, it's fully automated and it opens and closes trades on its own. There's very little monitoring, just to close the positions on the Friday evening, turn it back on a Monday. In case the market's gap, in case something big happens over the weekend and you get a big gap in either direction of the market, you just simply turn it off. Now, I'm going to show you some of the trades that's placed, real trades, and also how it counteracts positions when it goes wrong. So, a little bit more about it. It's an in-depth hedging strategy. So basically, as long as the first position works out, it'll close the trade with profit. Now, it's got a backup factor built within the algorithm. When a trade goes wrong and it goes against its position, it starts counteracting its position in the other direction to benefit from the movement to the downside. Okay? So not only is it benefiting from the upside, but it's also making sure that there's not much drawdown on the account or anything like that. And what it will do is it's then going to analyse which way are we actually moving. Are we going to go back into our initial favour of our first buy trade, or are we going to continue moving down to the sell side? Okay? And this is exactly what Fusion does. So let's just talk about some of the accounts. These are all verified. I can send you them all as well. So we've got a 27% gain over £12,000 in this one since November the 9th, which is my, you see the little losses here? The losses are me manually closing a hedge maybe that's got a bit too range bound or something like that. I haven't even had to intervene. Some people have left theirs and run continuously, whereas I'm a bit more, I'd rather just close a trade because when it gets into too many hedge levels, for example, it basically is the opportunity cost of leaving that open to just closing it and allowing it to re-enter positions and just continuously bank them out, right? So you've got to kind of work out, is it the opportunity cost of more positions coming in and just closing out profiting, or holding that hedge for maybe a few days? So it's down to the individual. As you can see, I'm quite happy just to take a small hit every now and then, and I've had to do it, what, 1, 2, 3 times over the last 5 months. It's no biggie. No biggie. 3 losing days out of 5 months. I'm happy with that. And you know, what a great place to be sat at making these kind of gains. This is just one account. Let's have a look at another one. This is 100,000 low risk verified too. Started on February, 8% gain, 3% drawdown, not too bad. It's in a position at the moment. You can see there it's just under 6,000 profit. And that guy's not actually closed any losses as well. So he's just let the hedges play out and close and profit. Here's another one, 20,000, high risk on this one. You can see the guy's up 33%, 16% drawdown, over 6,000 profit. Here's another one, 40,000, high risk verified account, track record verified, over 50,000. The guy, oh, this is, I know whose account this is. This guy's account is called Luke, hope he doesn't mind. He's actually now kind of just, he used to work for a hedge fund as an analyst, and he's now just going travelling. His account's a lot bigger than that now, actually. But yeah, he's just going travelling, carrying, scamming and stuff like that, just enjoying Fusion. So you can see that red day there, there's a few red days. So what they are is basically hedges within the market, and it's making the decision of which way the market should move, and it's closing the losses on the pip side, and then scaling into the side where there's momentum. And we're going to cover that slightly in a second. So, how do we get Fusion? Obviously you purchase Fusion if you wanted it. You open an ActiTrader account with the lovely gentleman at the back. You then send that MT4 account number off to us. We then encrypt the software, one of our technicians will encrypt it so it works on your account. Basically that's just protection for us so that individual can't then go and distribute that. So if you're thinking of making your own algorithm or something along those lines, you want to make sure that you've got encryption, right? You don't want other people getting it. If one person gets it, they can send it on to someone else. It's not valuable to yourself. So we'll go on about that in a little bit about creating your own. I advise getting a VPS build. So we've got our own techies that look at doing this. And this basically means you don't have to worry about your laptop staying on all the time, 24 hours a day. You can turn it off and it'll be in the cloud, work 24/7. That's what you want, right? You don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're going to have a power cut or your internet goes down or anything like that. You want to make sure it's running as efficient as possible, and that's why we use the VPS. And then you can watch Fusion's progress on MyFXBooks app or on their website. Sit back, enjoy. Now, I know from my own, I'm very much a pessimist in regards to, or a devil's advocate, so to speak, of always judging my software, yeah? I've got all you guys looking at me, and I've got a large amount of people on social media judging my trades, judging my performance. It's my job to make sure it's optimized as much as possible. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So here's a risk calculator. So what we do is, well, we've done it twice already. We gather all our stats up from all the users around the world. We ask them to, they send us the information. We say, what was your best game? What was your worst open trade? Yeah? And then what we do is we take all of that data and we re-optimize our settings to make sure that we're in, say, 15% drawdown worst in an open position on low risk, and for those that like high risk, to 45%, so a large amount of position. And what this is calibrated on, not only future times where we've gone through currently from November onwards, but also we've then gone back in time. And we've gone back over 16 years, and we've seen how it happened during recessions, during algorithm flash crashes on the pound, through all of these scenarios. And then we've calibrated the risk to make sure that whatever that fluctuation is within the market, that it's capable of withstanding that. So we're never going to have a holy grail, but we're going to have something that's very much optimized to the past, but is always getting updated, recalibrated, to make sure that the risk metrics are as fine-tuned as we can get them. So when we look at some of the gains, this is without compound, but if you're looking at compounding per annum, you can see the kind of gains that you can see. On a best case scenario, I can give you a stats figure that we're going off at the moment. As you can tell, I said earlier, it was up 20% this year in the first 3 months. Now, when we look at that, the average gain per annum was 8,000 on a 10,000 initial account, that's 80%. So that's actually what we're running on. So we're in line with our average expectation at the moment. And you can see what we can look at on our best case throughout each year, but also what is our potential open loss. It's always important to understand what's normal and what's not normal. Yeah? And as soon as someone panics, guess what happens? They come and tell me, right? So it's usually a settings, an input or variable that they've done as an error. And I always look into it and make sure that everything is optimized and up to date. So we send these out every quarter to make sure that these are the new settings, these are the ones that are in line with what we're going on based on our optimizations and things like that. And then for those guys that like high risk, it's not something that I advise, but we do have accounts, you've seen them running on it, track records again, of what you can look at on your gains. And that's something that's, exponential growth within the markets based on a 5-year kind of plan. It's not a quick get rich quick scheme. It's kind of, put it in, sit back, let it work, let it do its magic, right? And a little bit of overseeing here and there. So, we've got accounts on both, they're both running really nice, and yeah, just enjoying it at the moment. So I'm going to show you some of the examples of trades, which I haven't actually shown anyone before, because I work so hard in it, so I get a bit like, oh, people really need to see it. But, so here's some of the entries. This is obviously a perfect example. So we've got examples that are perfect, we've got some of the worst examples as well, and these are all recent. So this is March, this is 1st of March, okay? Now when we're looking at this, we've got our first entry here, enters a sell, exits here. What it's doing when it goes against, it's deciding whether or not we need to hedge this level or not. Is the market still in a down movement or is it not? And at this point it's decided that actually we don't need to, so it carries on with the one position to the sell side. It sells again here, shortly after, exits here with profit on this low, and it then shorts here and exits here as well. So that's a perfect example. And I don't think it's good showing you perfect examples, but we do get times where we get like a 9, 10 win streak, just straight wins, no worries. Or what we then get is what we call a hedge, where we get a basket of trades. Who in here has experienced just straight wins for like 6 or 7? Anyone of you? 1, 2, awesome, guy. It's a good fit, right? Yeah. You wake up and check your MyFX, but you're like, yes, not getting out there for another hour. So here's example 2. So again, this is it working its magic. Now the art of Fusion isn't actually the entry system, it's the management system. Okay? You know, the entries are very, very, very basic, but so here's that sell exit that you saw in the previous one, just running off the chart here. And then what happens is it sells again down here. Not a great sell entry, right? Not great. It goes against it, it decides now it's time to start buying. So it opens a buy to counteract its risk in the market. It buys again, and then it scales in over here. And it closes what we call a basket of trades. So it ended up closing 1, 2, 3 buys and 1 sell. 1 sell at a loss, 3 buys in total profit. So the total scenario ended up profitable. We hedged the position, and the algorithm took advantage of the momentum moving to the upside and scaled into that direction, getting us out of the scenario and allowing us to move on. Now, example 3, so I'm just showing you just literally the last month pretty much. We're looking at last week now, 20th of March, just after my birthday weekend. So the hedge closed and it says, do you know what? We're still ready for a sell. So it sells here and exits here. It sells here again and exits here. The market drops straight off, so there's no need to hedge this position within the market, which is fantastic. You know, makes our life easier. It sells here, and the market starts range bound. It's not really doing much at this point. And then it goes against it. We get a sharp amount of momentum moving to the upside. So it buys in again here, it buys in here, and it closes total scenario, 1 sell, and the winners on the buys, giving a total scenario again of overall profit. So there's never really a scenario where the trade is general losses. You still have a loss, but overall you're closing profitable trades at the same time, if that makes sense. And so again, it then decides now it's time to buy, so it buys, no need to hedge, so it just closes it out. So you've got hedges, you've got just straight wins as well, so you can understand the difference between them. Again, when we look at this one, it opened a trade like late night, and we're looking at, this is 27th of March, so as long as I can leave it to shut these in here to show you something really up to date. And so it went in for a buy here, and it comes down and decides to go for a hedge level down here, which is quite useless really, because, you know, before obviously the market was going to drop and it didn't. It then decides to scale in here, here, and it closes out the initial buy, and then a buy here, a buy here, a buy here, with this sells a lot, giving us total profit on Fusion. So when you're hedging like that, it's very profitable, and because you're closing a basket of trades, right, you're getting out of a situation that you didn't want to be in without having to close a loss overall. And that's a nice situation to be in. So that's my Fusion. You know, it's absolutely great. So I'm loving how it's performing, and it's really making a difference to my trade. I haven't actually placed really in manual trades since November, except for a few stock positions. So it means I don't have to sit there and do too much. I monitor it, and that's the time where, say for example, the hedge gets a little bit out of hand, too many buys and too many sells, where the drawdown's maybe 1% or so. All I do is just look at closing that out, and I think, right, that was an opportunity cost that I'm willing to take for the positions now to get back into the market and continue performing. So some of the questions that I get asked is, what's the minimum deposit amount for Fusion? It's 5,000. Why? Just because when you've got anything less, you don't want too much of a high drawdown. I'm very much a low risk kind of individual when it comes to trading. Why do I use the RSI level 6? Right, so I used to use that with stochastics. I hopefully explained that earlier, but now I moved away and merged them two together and use the Samuel Coe market strength. My favourite market for trading is pound, dollar and FTSE. I believe that you could be a specialist in the market. You don't have to trade everything. You can trade 1 or 2 things and still be very successful. So maybe for those traders that are really trying to split themselves and look at everything, just try to trade a few things and become a specialist rather than jack of all, if that makes sense. What's my best day and my worst day? My worst day was, I believe, 2015, August the 22nd or 24th, something around there. Yeah, the Dow Jones had a flash crash, and yeah, 1,000-point drop within 2 minutes. I wasn't using ActuTrade at this point, I was using another broker, and all of my stops just got blasted, and that's when I really had to research into which brokers to use. But yeah, it got blasted, so I lost 50,000 in 2.5 minutes. I don't think I could have thrown it out quick enough, you know, especially not to you guys, you didn't come up for 50. My best trade was a penny share in 2014. It was actually my graduation day, which is just sheer luck, but it was also awesome. I bought a stock called Peer TV. It's like the Android version of Apple TV, and it went from 0.1 penny. I bought £10,000 worth, and it went all the way up to 1.1, so I made 110,000 in 3 days. So that's the kind of 2 ends. The worst day was painful. but I kind of got over that, and obviously you got the best day, so it's still kind of outweighed the challenge. Markets you can trade the cluster algo on, all FX majors, Dow Jones, FTSE, the ones that we focus on. What percentage gain should I aim per month? I mean, if you're making anywhere between 4 and 10%, try not to push yourself. Some people are like, I make 30% a month. Just try and make it sustainable. Try not to think too short term. Try to think more long term. Make gains over the long run. You know, if you're trading and you're still there after 5 years and you've been making 2 to 5% every single month, you're beating a lot of benchmarks out there. And the beauty of it is, you know, it's tax free. Yeah. How many people are on my trade floor? That varies. It could be anywhere between 7 up to 20 people. It all depends on how many people are coming in. A lot of our traders are remote, some as far as Miami. You know, some people just decide to work from home, they don't want to come in. But it's nice to have an environment on the trade floor of, you know, aspiring individuals, like-minded individuals that are always looking to perform better within the markets, and have those kind of people that are already around doing it and got a t-shirt. My FAQs. So, in a bit of a wrap up for you guys, I've gone a little bit over. Talking about, you know, your automation. If you guys do have stuff where you're looking to automate yourselves, and you know you're lost or you don't have it, to get to Fusion, okay, I'll be honest with you, I made 44 different algorithms before I even came to the final version. So don't give up if you're going to do it. Understand it's a lot of working and it's always going to continue, so you get to progress more and more and perfect it. But you know, when you've got something that can make 80%, 100% per annum and it's automated, it's a great place to be. So if you do have something where you want to sit down and go over it, you know, give your emails to the back of the room. Is that my cue? Give the emails to the back of the room, and you know, I can have a chat with you guys, and we can look at potentially going there. Give us a follow. I try to be as inspirational as possible with you guys, and show, you know, I'm not a guy that came from a big wealthy background, self-made, and you know, it's hard graft and skill that got me there, not someone handing me something. So we've got a large amount of followers. Follow us on Instagram. Not too big on Twitter and Facebook, just regurgitate what we send and stuff. We've got over 1,500 students as well now at Samuel & Co, and over 130 Fusion users. We've got like a nice group of Fusion users. It's really good to monitor and perfect that group. But again, just talking about it, the cluster algorithm is free today in regards to picking it up. You know, speak to an active trader associate at the back of the room to open an account, and then we can sort out getting you your cluster algorithm. I really want to help you guys in regards to your inputs and variables if you do have an automated system. So when I say do talk to the guys at the back about that, we can follow this up, and you know, hopefully I can sit down and help you guys in regards to perfecting that. Just make sure you've got a clear decision of strategy, and I can look to help to automate that with my programmers. Yeah. So questions, you know, that's what hopefully you guys have got some questions. We've got a whole team at the back here that are a mix of Fusion users, guys that work within HR, some of my prop traders, some of the people that came through my trading programs and worked up. I do want to just say something about the training programs. There's a lot of training stuff out there, and I'm trying to stand aside from everyone else. So I'll just give you a quick breakdown. So we've got a whole interview stage where we go through for our junior trade program, okay? And then once you've gone through that and you get invested in, once the individual's trading over £10,000, right, there's something new that we put in, is I'll be paying for those individuals to do their IMCs, their investment management certifications, and so that's something that I'm looking to do. So yeah, if you've got any questions you want to ask them about products, anything like that, on our website or training, make sure you do inquire. That's what we're here for, is to talk about that. You know, we've got our offices in Birmingham, Watford and South Africa in regards to that. And this is a bit of an insight. I didn't want to show at the start because you look like one of those guys that's like a life marketeer, right? But this is some of the cool things that FX has given me in my life. I wouldn't change trading for the world. You know, okay, we get some of the media attention and stuff like that, the bottom two posts for politics. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, I do very well. We have a great time in the process, get to live the life. And unfortunately, some people out there don't get that chance. And you know, I'm hoping we've got some reps in the here from Sherry. Sherry here, as well. Woo! You stand up for us. Some guys, these guys are from Hope for Children, and they're doing amazing things with helping people not as privileged as us to have an education. So for myself, I've donated enough money for 100 children to have their full-time education, which is something that's great for me in 26 being able to make such a difference already, and I plan on making a lot more changes to children like that around the world. And so if you are going to get anything tonight in regards to that, the proceeds, part of the proceeds will go towards the charity, and we're working on some big projects in regards to building schools and so on and so forth, and making those children's lives better. Yeah, so pretty much, thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be hanging around on the front for a few minutes, so if anyone has got any questions that are more in depth, I'll be around. If you have any questions that are more about products and training, talk to the guys at the back. But yeah, thank you so much for coming out, and I really do hope your journey goes well on trading, and we're the right people to talk to in regards to that. Thank you very much.